Hello, Manifest. Yeah. Trying to go for a shiny right now. Trying to see if there's any faster ways of doing this one, but doesn't seem like it. So the shiny counter is the shiny counter is how many shinies I've. Feels so weird seeing a 3D Pokemon game. Yeah, no, it's taken a bit of time to get used to. I mean, I grew up on Emerald, so it's a bit weird. But the shiny counter is based on how many I've found throughout the whole playthrough. Like, even if I've had to delete them because they went against the rules, or it's just how many shinies I've found in total. I have currently 6 I can use, and I'm hunting for a fairy to basically make up my team. So I've got a bug poison, electric, grass, and then I want a fairy to replace this one, and then a dragon ground type, normal flying type. Yeah, the sheep is the one that's given to you in the game. So Arceus done something similar. Yes, I believe it does, yeah. I'm gonna double check on that one. Yeah. This one becomes Ampharos, which has a Mega Evolution, so... That was your favourite in Pokemon Gold? Yeah. It's a great Pokemon, actually. I've never used it much, but whenever I have, it hasn't failed me, so... but yeah, I'm hoping to have... oh, that's fine, sorry. But yeah, so I'm hoping to have a Bug Poison, Electric, Grass, Fairy type to replace Spooder, a Dragon Ground type, a normal Flying type, and... yeah, just going with that. Yeah. Kakuna is one that I've found as well, so I technically have 3 bug poison types. However, there's no point in me using any of the other ones, because for this sort of challenge I need as diverse typing as I can get. Yeah, I nicknamed Goodbye as Chompy, and I decided to call Pidgey Greed. I'm not sure exactly why, but Kakuna is a duplicate, obviously, because it got Beedrill, so I will be getting rid of him at some point. But because it's a duplicate and I found it in this zone, I can technically still keep going until I find the one I need. There's been quite a few people ill at the moment. Even I was ill for the last few days. It was not fun at work, but could be fine, just a cold, but very nice. Yeah. I had either like a stomach bug or a or food poisoning or something. I can't pinpoint which one, but yeah, it didn't feel nice. Yeah, it's a tough one really, because I work in a kitchen, but there wasn't anyone else I could come in to cover, so I just sucked it up and got on with it. Had McDonald's my first meal out of the hospital and nearly cried when I ate the first few fries. Yeah. I'm always needy, don't worry. What I do need is a shiny Floette at this point. It'd be lovely right now. Back on basically hospital food for tomorrow though. Why's that? Are you going back in for checkups or? Yeah. I tend to be alright when I'm sick. To be fair, the last time I was ever off was almost a year ago when I had a surgery, but actually no, it was over a year ago now. But milk and OJ for breakfast, beanies and weenies with toast for lunch, and microwave roast dinner for dinner. Ah. So easy to do food, yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do though. Probably come round and visit at some point. Yeah, it's not a bad drive. Can't trust a flatmate to cook, so made it as easy as possible for him to tell me. Yep. Love that. I was about to say, I thought I was tripping then. I was about to say how much I hated the fact that it was raining in the game. Like, the sound of raining, but it wasn't actually raining, and then it actually started showing that it was raining. I was like, come on Pokemon. Or Nintendo, should we call it. Can't be getting that low on graphics and stuff. To be fair, it's quite interesting. So they've already teased what the next game is going to be for Pokemon, and it's the 10th generation of the series on their 30th year anniversary, and it'll be on the newest Switch, and they're saying like oh, you have to, you must make a decent game, right? You've got to make a really good game for your 30-year anniversary and the 10th generation of Pokemon. Which, to be fair, I agree with, because while Pokemon games have been good, they've definitely been less inventive in the last few years. But there's a lot of games these days. I was watching a really good video before I had come onto this stream, and it was like an 8-minute video, and he was like, he started off the video, he's like, alright, so stay with me now, but this is probably why games aren't as appealing to you anymore, and he explained like 3 different reasons on why they're not really that good anymore, and he was just saying, since like, you know, Fortnite came out, everything has turned into microtransactions, and how can they bring in the most people with the least amount of effort? Yeah, apparently it's supposed to be closer to a Pokemon MMO, which sounds quite good. So it's going to be very open world. But I'm not sure how they're going to go about it. The concept art and all of that so far looks pretty good. The fact that it has to be on the Switch 2 exclusively means that it might be a very nice looking game, which we can only hope for. I'm not sure if I'll get it just yet, but yeah, I can agree with that. There's so many games now where it feels like you have to do everything in the game. You have like daily bonuses and things that you can check in on to get extra, like, you know, money or XP or something like that. I don't know what it'd be for a variation of game, but you like check in each day and you get rewards for it, or you have to be up to date with the game to make sure you're getting the best things and stuff. Whereas, you know, games a few years ago weren't nearly as competitive in that way, where you could start from any point in the game and you would feel like you could still work your way up, but also you didn't feel like you needed to as well, because the game was balanced. I've noticed the biggest thing with newer games is they'll release an update and it'll make all your progression, everything you've done before that, mean absolutely nothing, because now the new update has heightened everything, and it makes it so the things that you've attained that just mean nothing towards the game, and you end up just swapping it out for new gear or new equipment, or, you know, like a new weapon or something. So it's definitely made it less desirable, especially when you're talking about like newer games like Call of Duty, yeah, especially Destiny. I've never played it, but I know a fair decent amount about it. It's one of the hardest games to get into unless you've been playing it for a while, because the grind is insane. But yeah, there's just so many games like it now, you know. Every other game you play feels like it has to have a battle pass and new skins you can unlock and camos and stuff, and it's like, back in the old days when you used to play Black Ops like 1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, camos are the last thing you was thinking about. You was just happy to get into the game and, you know, do as good as you can. But I don't know, they seem to, especially Call of Duty is the biggest one I think at the moment. Black Ops 7 released last month. Yeah, Black Ops 7 released like a month ago, and it's the most down record sales in Call of Duty history. As half the amount of sales as Black Ops 6, which was already bad. But Anthem went bye-bye recently. Oh yeah. I realise I can't really watch a show at the same time as making videos, because I lose track of one or the other. Yeah, the thing is, I can multitask in that way, but I choose not to, because I feel like when you're at home and stuff, you also, it's tough, especially when you're like working and stuff and you don't have a lot of time to yourself. You want to maximize the time you've got, so you want to do as much as you can, but you're also so tired that you can't concentrate on said things at the same time. So it's a tough double-edged sword that you want to do more, but you can't do more. Hopefully the end of that style. Yeah. Yeah, it drives me crazy when you play COD now. I just want to build a class and play, and now it seems like you have 1,000 different things you have to do, and progression is such a mess. Whenever I need to focus, it's always lo-fi hip-hop, good chill beats and no vocals to get distracted by. Yeah, I'm the exact same. I've gotten stuff that's just beats, or I don't want to listen or think about the song, I just want it to match what I'm doing, or just something chill to listen to. Yeah, the recent Call of Duties, I've tried to play Black Ops 6 when it came out. It came out on the Xbox Game Pass, and so I just linked it up with my PC. And it was good for like a tiny bit when you was learning the game and seeing what's different. And then afterwards you just realise that it's the exact same carbon copy of the last game that came out. Which is, you know, it's much like every other game out there at the moment. You know, they seem to come out with game after game. I mean, especially with the Black Ops 7, they released, so it wasn't even a month since it released, and they had put it on a free weekend, or free week, where everyone could play it free for 1 week, just because they were like, we understand that our game is awful, but we want you to play the game and give it a chance. I'm like, they're just trying so hard. Like, it makes it sound worse than it should be. But I mean, the worst part is that just everything about the game feels cluttered, and that's the thing that sort of deters new people. Is you make a game that feels like there's too much to do, and people will either sink way too much time into it that it becomes unhealthy, or they will do the exact opposite, play the game for 5 minutes and go, I'm not going to play this. Especially where it's getting harder and harder to pay for everyday things. You know, taxes and stuff can be a big problem for certain households. So like, why would they sit there and play a game that you have to invest, you know, up to 200 to 500 hours in, when they can play a game that has, you know, much better replayability? Bring back Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. I agree. If they could just like wipe every single Call of Duty they made past, I think, past like Black Ops 2, like, so Black Ops 2 was probably the last best game that I played out of Call of Duty franchise. The other ones were, like, you know, Black Ops 3 was different, but then they just basically re-released the same thing again. So Black Ops 4, Black Ops Cold War, Black Ops 6 were basically all just carbon copies of Black Ops 3. They also kept throwing Nuketown into the exact same franchise, which was a smart move, I guess, because people like Nuketown, but they just made it so that everyone played Nuketown, and that was it. As for Modern Warfare 2, there's not been a lot with that franchise, to be honest. Obviously, Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare in general, the latest thing was the remasters, and apparently the first one was great, the second one was okay, it was decent remaster but nothing special, and then the last one was a absolute flop apparently. But back to the whole cluttering stuff, is Modern Warfare done the exact same thing, tried throwing in all these bundles and all these skins and all these, you know, new ways you can customize, that everyone was just more focused on that than actually playing the game and enjoying it. I feel like all it takes is to make a blank slate game where you don't have to worry about things that don't matter to the game, and make it more about fun again and not just how much money can we rinse out this game before it's going to die. So I remember playing, my main game that I used to play was either Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2, and those were beautiful games because you can just jump back in and not have to worry about anything. You just jump into a lobby and play. Now they've released all of this stuff where you got ranked battles and you got 50 different attachments you can throw on your gun. You got 20,000 different skins that you put on it. Oh, you got to worry about the new meta that comes with each gun and how you have to customize it. It's like, just go back to where you like threw FMJ on your gun or fast reload and stuff and call it a day. Put on like, you know, the scavenger perk where you got your ammo back and stuff, or dexterity and stuff like that, where it just made the game funny because you can run around and just shoot people faster. You didn't have to worry about the complicatedness, you just threw on a perk and called it a day. Your gun is full of blanks, paid 20 quid for real bullets for 2 hours. Yeah, it's true. That is not true. But, yeah, you pretty much might as well play with a real gun than try playing a game where it is the most buggiest piece of crap you've probably ever seen. Since even I remember playing the Black Ops 6, and it was just as it had come out. They already put it on Game Pass because they knew that it was going to flop. And played it, and I just remember feeling like none of my bullets in the game were actually landing or doing anything to the enemy. And I was just like, played enough of it to the point where I was like, okay, I'm just getting annoyed by the game now and stop playing it. But Pokemon has been fairly faithful to this whole to keeping up with the franchise, keeping things slightly different while also not completely straying away. However, what their biggest problem at the moment is they're trying to see how little effort they can put in order to generate the same amount of income, basically. And you know, you just gotta look at some of the previous games they made and see how much it cost them to make compared to other games on the Nintendo Switch, and you're like, why is it so low compared to other games which have less content? I don't know. I just hope Nintendo doesn't fall into the same trap of let's keep releasing stuff and not thinking about it in order to make money. Yeah. Well, I mean, as someone who's played through the game, it's good because people wanted something to do with Z. Z being obviously Zygarde. Zygarde's been a Pokemon that they've just thrown about in a lot of games, but not actually explained the purpose of Zygarde. And that's basically the only thing they've sort of done right in this game. But yeah, this story is not its strongest point, I'll be honest. Definitely the battle mechanics and the you know, how everything's in the wild zones and stuff like that is definitely one of the better things. The promotion battles are a nice step away from the whole you know, you have to beat each gym leader. It's more you have to work your way up the ranking system sort of thing, so it's kind of nice. But it also goes back to, so in Scarlet and Violet, which was the last game in the franchise, they were doing this whole thing where everything's a lot more open, you can choose your path sort of thing. And the difference is you've now come into this game where it's probably the most linear Pokemon game I've ever played. They couldn't spell it out for you any more easier than they already do. Like, you have a quest line, follow this quest. You've got the few side quests, but none of it leads to anything. It's just, battle this trainer and you get X amount of rewards. But so there's not much for exploration. Scarlet and Violet done that pretty well. Yeah, it's tiny. I feel like while it's great for shiny hunting, the fast travel definitely has taken away from the enjoyment of the game as well. Just being able to instantly teleport to... It's great for us because obviously we're speedrunning the game technically, but for other games and stuff, you kind of want that time to be able to look around, find hidden stuff, and to basically just be waiting until your next quest and then looking where it is on the map, finding the nearest location you can fast travel to go there. It's made it definitely a lot more duller in that way. But, I don't know. There's a lot more I feel like they could do with the Pokemon franchise without making it too different, which I think is what they're trying to do in the next game. I don't know how it's going to work with them trying to turn a very... I don't know what way to put it. They're essentially turning a very linear, story-based game, or franchise should we call it, where the whole point is no matter what path you take, you end up in the same point, or you do the same final quest, you catch the same Pokemon. I don't know how they're planning on turning that into a very open world MMO game, where how are they going to implement a story into a game that's so open world? I mean, it could be great. But I feel like the reason MMOs work in general is because usually they have the RPG mechanics as well with it, which is the whole sense of customization and going around completing side quests and getting rewards and stuff, or beating different bosses around the map sort of thing, or finding new secrets. I don't know how they're going to try and implement that, if they are going for a whole MMO RPG sort of style, or if they're just going just for MMO. Also, everyone keeps saying MMO, but technically MMO stands for massively multiplayer online. So I'm not sure how they're going to implement a multiplayer setting if that is the case. The closest thing we've had to multiplayer Pokemon is Scarlet and Violet's Link play sort of thing. So I'm not sure how they're going to implement a multiplayer Pokemon game. It'd be interesting. I think everyone sort of wanted a game that was similar to Pokemon Go in a way where you can run around and catch Pokemon with your mates, but I'm not sure how it would work. I do have a feeling as well involve the whole competitive side in the game. Yeah, that's also what I was thinking. is something they might push towards. What I was also thinking is Nintendo have obviously had the whole Power World controversy. I feel like they might have tried to take what they've done and go, okay, we're going to follow this example because it's worked, and they're going to go for the whole base building, home base sort of build your characters and that, fight other people on a server, trainers and gym leaders scale to your current party level. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, well, I don't know how much hope it gives me, because they released this game last year, and they've already started to work on the next game, but that only gives them a year to make it. And if I know anything properly, because I've played a fair few MMOs and games that are quite open world, they do not take a year to make, as in you cannot use only a year to make an MMO like open world game, as it's just gonna flop if you do that. Usually they take years to develop. Wait, first gym -4, next -3, up to +4 at the 8th gym. Yeah, that's not a bad show. There would definitely be like if it's open world, they definitely have to do some sort of level scaling. It'd be interesting if they done like a thing where they combined like the level of your Pokemons and then scaled it with that, or if you actually had a level as your character in the game, similar to like the Pokemon obey system they have in these games. I wonder if it will work in a similar way. I don't know. It's interesting to see what might happen. Because it sounds like they're going to make something that's very, very different to what we might have had. And I mean, if the game performs well, then it's probably going to be a new type of, like, it's going to be their new way of doing things. Yeah, Pokemon Go is very different. I don't feel like Pokemon Go is ever going to die either. It's such a hard game to get wrong, because it's something that people have wanted for a while. So it's going to be interesting to see if that has some influence on it. Obviously they released on the Switch a Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eve game, and they're very similar to the original games. However, it used the whole ball throwing mechanic, so it would be interesting to see what they're going to do, because there's a lot of things they can do based on the previous games they've done. All you've got to do is take, so for example, we take Legends Arceus. It is open world game, multiple different zones, so like there's 5 different maps within it. Have you played Pokemon Road? Is that one of the fan-based ROMs? If so, I haven't played any of them yet. I do want to play one at some point, but I haven't yet. But yeah, we'll take Arceus for example. A very very easy to play game. The Pokédex isn't an issue. Browser game. Wait, so a game you can just play on your browser? Oh, that is cool. Okay, I'll just search it up and have a look. So well, search it up, and so it seems to be like a, if they tried to mix Dark Souls with Pokemon. So it's very considered roguelike, which means it's like one life sort of thing. But it spans across all different generations of Pokemon, which is really cool. Brady and Caddy had a fire at 4 AM and jumped on my face and made scrub. It wasn't the most fun way to wake up before they'd cut my eyeball. Oh god. Nah, not like that. Pokemon May. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. 27 hours and 19 minutes. 200 hours. Yeah, you wish. Don't worry, once I get the Floette, I'll be off. This is a very boring way of trying to get a shiny, but hopefully it gives me one soon. And hopefully not a Kakuna again. Ooh, Christ. Yeah, I've seen quite a few games that have just come out recently that look quite interesting. One that came out like a few days ago is called Hightail. It's like a MMORPG cube-like game where you've got like dungeons and a MMO style game, but it's based on like a cube world, similar to like Minecraft's a game like Trove or Cube World, but it has very cool battle mechanics and swordplay. So that's one I might get. I think below like 20 quid. So another one that just came out recently was a game called Vane, which is a zombie survival game. But it's so far looking great. They've somehow, with two completely independent devs that don't work for anyone, are part-time workers, have still somehow managed to make a better game than half of the big corporations and companies that are making games at the moment. I was meant to be getting a cup of tea from some 2 hour ago. Sounds about right. Yeah, those two games are sort of the only ones I'm really looking excited to. I might try and get the Pokémon, like the new Pokémon game that comes out, but that would mean I'd have to buy a Switch 2. So yeah, I'm not completely sure if I want to or not. Might leave it for a bit and then buy the game eventually, but so far that's the only game on the Switch 2 that I'm interested about, and I can play every other game on here, so it's not really any point in buying one either just yet. Plus I've also got the OLED version of the Switch 1, which is better than the original Switch anyways. So it sort of makes no sense for me to buy the Switch 2 when it doesn't have an OLED version yet. I need to play Exhibition though. Yeah, I've heard it's great. I mean, it obviously didn't win Game of the Year for no reason, but some people like it and some people hate it, because most people who hate it are just solely because I think Arc Raiders didn't win, which Arc Raiders apparently is a really good game anyways, but when every other game that comes out is a shooter game, it kind of goes stale a bit fast. But I love shooter games, but with the amount that come out and everyone comparing them, it's just like, I don't know. I wish everyone would just done, you know what, let's stop buying the new games and actually make them start working to make actual good games. And we'll just go and play like the old games we used to play in our childhood or something like. Now, could you imagine if everyone who was thinking of buying Black Ops 7 or something decided, nah, screw it, we're all going to go and play Black Ops 2 for the rest of the year? Could you imagine the amount of loss that they would make off of Black Ops 7? They would instantly just reopen Black Ops 2 servers and be like, yeah, we'll just keep this as a game. But unfortunately, Call of Duty especially has a very stubborn fan base, so they would definitely not do that. You were streaming Dark Souls yesterday. Oh wow. Did you stream it on Twitch or YouTube? I'd imagine it's probably easier to do on YouTube at the moment. to be honest, I don't think my YouTube notifications come through all the time, so... Do another loop of the area, and then I think I'm gonna end the stream. I like we're doing that one. Nothing. Alright, well, that was a decent stream. Yeah, I'll probably be hunting the Floette off stream, and once I get Floette, I'll then just try and progress through the game a bit. Obviously, I'll have to level up a little bit, but it should be fine. Yeah, I'll see you whenever I'm able to get the Floette. Bye bye.